Krishnaye Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachare Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Satarine Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyanam Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Yadati Swapadam Tikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sejuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaisnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Ritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganalata Sri Sakandritam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnavando Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Vipashino Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Continue reading from Bhagavad-gītā as it is, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Tam uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ. Prahasann Bhārata. Senayor ubhayor madhye. Viṣīdantam idam vacaḥ. Tam uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ. Prahasan Bhārata. Senayor ubhayor madhye. Viṣīdantam idam vacaḥ. Somebody else?
uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ.
Uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ.
रहसन इव bhārata. senayor ubhayor madhye. viṣīdantam idam vacaḥ.
Viṣīdantam idam vacaḥ.
uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ.
Uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ.
रहसन इव bhārata. senayor ubhayor madhye.
Senayor ubhayor madhye.
viṣīdantam idam vacaḥ.
uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ
रहसन bhārata senayor madhye viṣīdantam idaṁ vacaḥ.
Mataji's?
uvāca hṛṣīkeśaḥ rahsan bhārata senayor madhye viṣīdantam.
Word for word meaning? Tam, unto him. Uvāca, said. hṛṣīkeśaḥ, the master of the senses. Kṛṣṇa, prahasann, smiling. Iva, like that. Bharata, O Dhṛtarāṣṭra, descendant of Bharata. Senayor, of the armies. Ubhayor, of both parties. Madhye, between. Viṣīdantam, unto the lamenting one. Idam, the following. vacaḥ, the words. Translation. O descendant of Bharata, at that time smiling, Kṛṣṇa, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Every one of you, please repeat all everyone together. O descendant of Bharata, at the time Kṛṣṇa, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Purport. The talk was going on between intimate friends, namely the hṛṣīkeśaḥ and Gudakesh. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. Kṛṣṇa was smiling because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone. And yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as the master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like the master, with gravity as it is required. It appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad-gītā are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all. And friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear them. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Again, the translation. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Kṛṣṇa, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. So Sanjay still continues to narrate to King Dhṛtarāṣṭra about the refusal of Arjuna to not to fight. It is very, very crucial now, after having brought the chariot in the midst or in the middle, both the armies, from the Kauravas side headed by Duryodhana, and from the Pandava side headed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So now, as from the previous verse, he boldly told Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight. He was very, very determined now. He put down his bow and arrows and says, that's it for me. It is better for me to live like a beggar than to have my hands be tainted with the blood of my kinsmen. So here, Lord Kṛṣṇa, he was addressed as the master of the senses, hṛṣīkeśaḥ. It says in there's a verse, hṛṣīkeśaḥ, sevanam bhaktir uchate, tat parikvena nirmalam, that the master of the senses, if we use our senses for his pleasure, then we become happy, joyful. Tat parikvena nirmalam hṛṣīkeśaḥ sevanam bhaktir uchate. This is bhakti. This is devotional service. That's the meaning of devotional service, when we use our senses for the pleasure of the master of the senses. And Gutakesh here, Gutakesh means Arjuna. He is the one who can curb the sleeping state. Gutakesh. That means sleeping is a type of sense enjoyment. So Gutakesh, Arjuna, he who curbs sense enjoyment, the propensity to enjoy. And this is the time now that Kṛṣṇa starts to speak. Later on, after this, we will hear Shri Bhagavan uvāca. The different arguments and contradictions coming from Arjuna to not to fight has been already mentioned by Arjuna. And now he's going to hear the nature by which he'll be able to be convinced by Lord Kṛṣṇa. The teachings now of the Bhagavad-gītā will start. The next few verses, especially the text 13, which is being quoted by Srila Prabhupada about the nature of the soul. So the talk was going on between intimate friends, hṛṣīkeśaḥ and Gutakeśaḥ. And as friends, between you and your friend, you are like in the same level. Sometimes you can scold each other, chastise each other, or even slap each other's face. And it's not considered to be like the fight between two enemies. Because of equality, the position of the friends is like the cowherd boys. Kṛṣṇa will sometimes carry a cowherd boy on his shoulder. The cowherd boys consider Kṛṣṇa to be equal with them. They can do that. They can even ask Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, we want the fruits from Talavan. We know that there's a big demon there. The ass demon. Dhenuka Sura. Yes? What's the name of the demon there? Dhenuka Sura. He has a lot of friends also. And Lord Balaram, he got kicked first. Remember that story in the Krishna book? But Kṛṣṇa and Lord Balaram, like a toy, they swirl the donkeys and throw up on the top. So it says here, Kṛṣṇa was smiling now because he understood that the friend has chosen, that means Arjuna, chosen Lord Kṛṣṇa to be his spiritual master. He accepted now some kind of defeat, that I'm in dilemma now, I don't know what to do. So as a dear friend, I know you can help me. He surrendered now to what Kṛṣṇa will tell him. This is the position. Even though it says that the spiritual master is a friend of everyone, yes, like Prabhupada would sign his letters, your ever well-wisher. Because as a friend is like this, I wish you the best all the time. But then the position will change, even though the spiritual master is like the best friend for the disciple, because the guru's main duty is always for the welfare of the disciples. You will not wish him ill. It's like Lord Kṛṣṇa. As soon as the disciple took shelter of the spiritual master, it is the duty of the spiritual master to always give shelter unto the disciple. He will help him as much as possible, both spiritually and materially. But we should not ask material help from the Guru. Like, Guruji, can I borrow some money for my grief-stricken ashram? I'm finding it difficult to maintain my ashram. No, that is not the duty. We should not ask for. But sometimes, if we are in dilemma, if we are in problem materially, like having family problems, that we can confer to the spiritual master and ask for some help, some guidance. But usually, what the disciple, when he approached the spiritual master, is guidance, direction, spiritual help. So here, both of them, Prabhupada says, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became a student of the other. Now the position changed now. That Arjuna put himself now in a situation whereby he needs help, and therefore he approached his best friend, Lord Kṛṣṇa. Even though Kṛṣṇa is a friend of Arjuna, Kṛṣṇa became the spiritual master now. And therefore, it is mentioned in the scriptures that tad vijnanartam sagaro ivalo vichet. If one wants to seek the supreme absolute truth, then therefore he needs a spiritual master. He needs a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an ordinary soul. It's not an ordinary soul. Even though he is in the Jiva Tattva category, he is to be honored, he is to be worshipped as the same level as Lord Kṛṣṇa. But he never says, I'm God, or I'm one with God. Srila Prabhupada has warned us, especially here in Vrindavan, not to go and hear outside of the four walls. of Krishna Balaram Mandir. We can go outside for parikrama. We can go to Govardhan or Varsana, underground, go to different places of Leela Stalis, pastimes, places of Radha and Krishna and the Lord's eternal associates. But we should also be guided by a devotee when we go there, who will explain to us, oh here, this is what Krishna did. Krishna plays here. Krishna ate mud here. Mother Yasoda opened his mouth here. It's like if you go to Brahmandagat or Chintahara, right? Where there is no anxiety. A place where there is no anxiety. So, yes, a spiritual master, he never says he is God. And he never says he is one with God. So we must be very careful. We don't want to name any names or any personalities. Just nearby here,
Some are going to the Premananda.
don't say any names.
Some,
Don't say any names.
I have not named actually.
But don't say any names. Prabhupada will not say any names. But he would mention, it's like if someone says a name of a person, what do you think of him? You know what Prabhupada says? What is his philosophy? Correct, sir? He would say, what does he say? But one can be very, very popular according to the mass of people. But that doesn't mean that that person is bona fide or authorized. Not until we hear what he says. And there is this one personality. Many personalities in Vrindavan are not genuine. Very few are genuine. So we must be very careful. It's not because there's a huge mass of people following this person. It doesn't mean that he's authorized, he's bona fide. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous to hear such personalities who will say that Narayan, we are the same as Narayan. There is no difference between Narayan and ourselves when we get into the liberated state of consciousness. No, it is very, very sad that many of our devotees also go to such personalities. So, now Arjuna voluntarily became a student. That's why Krishna was smiling. Now Krishna was smiling now. Because a friend had chosen to become a disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone. And yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. As we've heard many times, Srila Prabhupada says, each and every one of us is a spiritual, living entity. Our identity is unique, each and every one of us, since we have that special relationship with Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the only personality who has a relationship with everyone. You will never find another personality like Lord Krishna. We may have relationship, let's say, with our family, with our relatives, with our friends, and some of our loved ones. But how much far we can spread or reach that relationship? Not very far. Or let's say the Prime Minister of India, we know he is the leader of the country, but do we have a relationship with him? I don't think so. Relationship means reciprocation. It's like a two-way street. How about in other countries? They're like, they just follow the leaders. It doesn't matter what the leader says, you just have to follow. And if you don't follow, then you'll get the consequence. So here, Lord Kṛṣṇa, he has 5 major roles or relationship with his devotees, according to the devotee's desire, how he wants to serve the Lord. He will serve the Lord accordingly. But it says that our relationship with Lord Kṛṣṇa is eternal. Now we just have forgotten, like we're having this, what do you call that disease? Amnesia? You forget where you live, you forget your... But there's another disease, what do you call this? When you get old? Alzheimer. How about, what is that disease? Dementia. Similar? Similar. Yeah. Forgetfulness. This is the difference between Lord Kṛṣṇa and us. Kṛṣṇa will never forget. Kṛṣṇa knows the past, present, and future. But for us, we can be forgetful. This is the nature of the tatashta shakti, or marginal energy. It's like here, Arjuna, he was there when the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken 5,000 years ago, and also he was present millions of years ago when the same knowledge was spoken to the sun god, Vivashvan. Arjuna was present. So the friendship between Lord Kṛṣṇa and his friend Arjuna, Sakha, that means friendship. Bhakto sime sakha cheti. He explained the Bhagavad-gītā to Arjuna because Arjuna is his dear friend and devotee. Then there are other relationships that one can have with Lord Kṛṣṇa, just like Mother Yasoda, parenthood, vatsalya. Then the sakhas, or the cowherd boyfriends. Then there's also neutrality, shanta. Santa, dasya, sakya, vatsalya, and then madhurya, the conjugal relationship between Lord Kṛṣṇa and the cowherd maidens of Vrindavan. It's more of the paramour, parakiya, more of seemingly it is illicit relationship, but it is not. It is not, because those cowherd maidens of Vrindavan are not ordinary girls. They also have the same qualities as Śrīmati Radharani, because they are expansions of Śrīmati Radharani. The queens of Dwarka, the goddesses of fortune, and also the gopis, they're all expansions of Śrīmati Radharani. Energy, Shakti. So the role now has changed from being 2 friends, now one becomes the master and one becomes the disciple. They're still friends. It's like our spiritual master, he's our genuine friend, real friend. But when it comes to position whereby spirituality is concerned, he is our master and we are his disciple. That relationship will be there from the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. And it says that our spiritual master, we have that special relationship with our spiritual master, that birth after birth, he will be our guide, he will be our spiritual master. He will be the one who will engage us in service towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, the Lord agrees to be in that position. Even though he was the chariot driver. What is a chariot driver? It's like, you're like subordinate. You're subordinate to the one whom you are driving. Let's say a chauffeur is driving a limousine. There's never a time, this is the mundane platform, there's never a time that he will consider himself to be equal with the passenger who is the owner of the car. He's just driving it. But in this spiritual platform, it's so absolute that even though seemingly Lord Kṛṣṇa, the position that he played, the role that he's playing to please his devotee, seemingly lesser, but no, he's still superior because he's still being always served. Just like the position of Lord Kṛṣṇa, being the son of Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj. They're always there, ready to serve him. He is the son, seemingly lesser, of course, in relationship with the parents, but they just want to serve Kṛṣṇa. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan is the same, they all just want to serve Kṛṣṇa. The cowherd boyfriends of Lord Kṛṣṇa, they just want to serve Kṛṣṇa. They want to be with Kṛṣṇa, they want to be with him as much as possible. The closer they are with Kṛṣṇa, they think that is the best position. So now, being so close together, Lord Kṛṣṇa was accepted to be the master. So the role and talk with the disciple like the master with gravity now starts to happen. Just now starting. It says here that the talk, Prabhupada says that the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken no more than 45 minutes. There's no time to spare so long to talk. They cannot talk for hours and hours because now the battle is just to begin, to start. And the whole Bhagavad-gītā, 700 slokas, was spoken no more than 45 minutes, maximum 1 hour. And when we recite the Bhagavad-gītā during the Gita Jayanti, the day when Bhagavad-gītā was spoken yearly, it'll take us more than 2 hours to recite the whole Bhagavad-gītā, the 700 slokas. But the question and answer between Arjuna and Lord Kṛṣṇa, so fast that it says here, the exchange between the master and the disciple, or between Lord Kṛṣṇa and Arjuna, in the presence of both armies, so that all were benefited. So the Bhagavad-gītā is not just meant for a particular person, society or community, but the knowledge of the Bhagavad-gītā is meant for everyone. Whether friends or enemies, they are equally entitled to hear them. So this is the mystery of the Bhagavad-gītā here. Even though it's knowledge pertaining to everyone, to be able to understand our duty, which is to serve, to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Kṛṣṇa uses there is some kind of irony here. He's talking about peace, he's talking about the nature of the soul. And it so happened that the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken in the middle of war between two armies. Let me see what else we can find here from the notes. Assuming the role of the Guru, Kṛṣṇa became grave because he was teaching not only Arjuna but all humanity. As Prabhupada says, we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. The Bhagavad-gītā was spoken not for the benefit of Arjuna but for the benefit of the people, especially in Kali Yuga. It is good. The nature of the Bhagavad-gītā, the knowledge, is good for everyone at all times, in any circumstances. Srila Prabhupada says, it appears that the talk between the master and the disciple was openly exchanged. So it is not intended for any particular person, society, or community. It is meant for everyone. So the knowledge is not for any particular person. Some may say, oh, yeah, this is only for the Hindus. This is only for those who live in India, followers of Hinduism. There is no ism, as Prabhupada says. This knowledge is meant for everyone. As Prabhupada would say, 1 + 1 = 2. Doesn't matter where you go. That knowledge is knowledge. So we're very fortunate somehow, especially most of you who hears Bhagavad-gītā every day, both Hindi and English Bhagavad-gītā classes. It is part of our daily routine to hear Lord Kṛṣṇa speaking and the pastimes of the Lord along with his eternal associates. So in this way, we're becoming purified every time we hear. How many times that the whole Bhagavad-gītā you've heard? Many, many times. I know one devotee, he told me, Maharaj, I just finished reading Chaitanya Charitamrita 9 times. So now I'm on the 10th time, and my goal is to read all Chaitanya Charitamrita 108 times. Just like Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, 108 times. Also Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Bhagavad-gītā is eternal. It's amazing how the knowledge that was given 5,000 years ago is good today, and more so in the future. Where can you get this kind of knowledge? And it's not being, let's say, revised. The message, unlike the academics, the books that they use in schools, every year they have revisions. They cannot use the same book on that specific subject that was used last year. They have different. You have to buy a book every day or every year for the same subject matter. But here, the same subject matter about the soul, Jiva, Isvara, Supreme Lord, Prakriti, material nature, Kala, time, and Karma, that nature, law of nature, which is for every action there is a reaction. The same 5 subject matters we can study every day, and there, you cannot add more and you cannot subtract. It's absolute. That's what we call absolute knowledge. So we're very fortunate, especially to hear Bhagavad-gītā in Vrindavan. The effect, the purification that we receive from hearing is magnified so much. We're very fortunate. Same with the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we stop here. You have any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu?
The Bhagavad-gītā was spoken to the sun god
Vivasvan.
a long time before.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about the circumstances in which it was spoken and the relationship between Kṛṣṇa and the sun god?
Yeah. again, the Bhagavad-gītā was spoken to the those who are in the royal order, because they are the leaders. They are the ones who give directions to the subjects, to human society. Manu also, this was spoken to the Manu. There are 14 Manus in one day of Lord Brahma. So, Bhagavad-gītā should be actually studied by our leaders. And we had many of our leaders being given the Bhagavad-gītā. The leader of British Empire or United States of America. Even the Pope, there was a picture of a devotee, Dhṛtarāṣṭra. He was giving a book to the Pope. And because it's a universal knowledge, we usually, when we distribute books, Einstein, this is his favorite book. We would do like that. Ralph Waldo Emerson, great personalities of our time, they read Bhagavad-gītā. Ralph Waldo Emerson, great personalities. Because they know that this is not just meant for a particular country or religion. No, it's universal knowledge. But specifically, if our leaders will read Bhagavad-gītā and they apply the Bhagavad-gītā in their life, then they become Kṛṣṇa conscious, then everyone will be satisfied in the country where they're ruling. Now there's a great dissatisfaction. So many protests, so many demonstrations, so many wars, so many calamities. No, and they're not able to rule. It's a chaos out there in the name of freedom. They don't have freedom. It's like every year we have this Independence Day, right? America also, July 4th. It's an Independence Day. But they're not independent. No one is independent here. We all depend on Lord Kṛṣṇa. And the leaders, they're supposed to be representatives of the Supreme Lord. They are put into that position representing God, representing the Supreme Lord. And if they don't know how to engage or have the citizens, for them to cultivate Kṛṣṇa consciousness, which is what it should be, then their being a leader is being defeated. They're not leaders. They just want to enjoy the position. So they have a very important role to do, the leaders of the society. And the sun god, like the sun is the king of the planets. Yeah? The king of the planets, the sun. Sun god. When you say sun god, that means he's royal. He's in the royal order. So usually he said, here again, spoken in royal order, the five Pandavas. Okay, anything else? Yes?
Is it possible to play the two roles?
Is it possible to play the two roles?
Equal friends, mutual friends,
Yeah.
understanding friends. Suddenly I become a student and I become a
Oh yes,
master.
it's possible.
It is balance.
Possible. This is in the spiritual platform.
The hierarchy will come, right?
Yeah, the spiritual platform. As soon as you take advice from a friend, of course there is reciprocation. Each other can. This is in the material platform. Then, as soon as you take direction, advice, some suggestion, he is your guru. He is your guru. How to solve your being in anxiety, how to become free from worries. That person who approaches you is like becoming your disciple, asking questions. There is what you call Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru. Is not an ordinary devotee also, a Shiksha Guru. As we've heard from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's no difference between Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. So Guru is one who is advanced, and the Guru also means he is not of this world. He is free from the jurisdiction of the material energy. He's not under the modes of nature. He's in the viṣīdantam category. So it is possible for Lord Kṛṣṇa, it's possible. And as we mentioned earlier, Srila Prabhupada is a friend of everyone. Yeah? But he's the Guru also of anyone who would like to take shelter, surrender. Yeah? He's a spiritual master for the next 10,000 years, but also he's our dear friend. But don't equate that, oh, he became my friend, so he become like buddy. Yeah? It's like, oh, my Guru is my friend. Then when you meet your Guru, you say, Hare Krishna Maharaj, how's it going? Everything okay? No, that's not what it means. Yeah, it's always with folded hands. Guru Maharaj. Because often when I travel with my Guru Maharaj, devotees will ask him, how are you? That's not how. That's not how we treat. We know how Guru Maharaj is. We know how they are. They're in the transcendental platform, but maybe they can ask, Guru Maharaj, how's your health? That could be a little bit better, right? Instead of casually, Guru Maharaj, how are you? It's like, it's like you're asking a person at the same level as you are. I feel uncomfortable when I hear this from some disciples asking, like, I know that what they mean, but you don't have to ask like that. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? We should not treat casually. Narendra Krishna will correctly use the word casual. We cannot be casual with our spiritual master. Even though he's our ever well-wisher, he's our genuine friend, he's a true friend, we cannot be casual. He says also that even though let's say, better, there are some things that you know better than the spiritual master, you should not pose yourself to be better because you know more than your Guru Maharaj. This is an example of Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj, right? Who was a scientist. He knows so much in regards to science, modern science, but he will put himself always in a humble position with Srila Prabhupada. Yes. So it's possible the spiritual master can play that role, but we cannot play the role of being a disciple and at the same time thinking that we know better than our spiritual master. No. It's not like that. Okay? Anything else? So we stop here. So this is the first time now that Lord Kṛṣṇa starts speaking. After this is Bhagavan uvāca. And also Kṛṣṇa starts to smile, smiling smiling between the two armies. There is a war going on, and Kṛṣṇa was smiling. But at the same time, he's grave. He smiles because now he knew that Arjuna started to understand his position to be a disciple. Okay? Srila Prabhupada Ki Vitāyor Sitana Trimanande Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.